I was born with detransposition of the great arteries. Your heart is hooked up backwards from birth. And from there, I just lived a fairly normal life. But there were some complications and some larger complications in 2008 when I had a small stroke. And then from there, we just kind of knew that the efficiency of my heart was not what it should be. In September of 2016, my health just fell off a cliff. I was told by my doctors that having detransposition, they can only keep you going for so long on meds to where you're just gonna just fall off a cliff.
Well, when I first met him over 20 years ago, he had a congenital heart disease that had been operated on when he was a baby and got a good repair. But over time, he developed congestive heart failure.
My heart was so weak, I could not walk up the steps to see my kids. I couldn't go to work. I really couldn't do anything. And I remember we went down there and the doctor in the clinic that day said, "Andrew, you're too sick to go back home. And we're gonna admit you where we can care for you, and you're not going home till you get a new heart."
When we met Andrew, there were a number of us involved on the transplant team. Our decision was pretty clear that I was going to be involved because of my expertise in congenital heart surgery. Plus, the decision to do Andrew's transplant comes with a huge responsibility because there's so much more than just the doing. Yes, you got to put the bits and pieces together, and in Andrew's case, they were all screwed up. You have to make sure you have a heart that works afterwards and the knowledge that he's going to do well. It's so important that our transplant patients do well.
When you're waiting in St. Luke's at the hospital for so long, I waited about 3 weeks, which doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're in a hospital with a heart pump hooked up to you, it's forever.
I know it's a weird question. Do you have any chest pain right now? Your heart rate just kind of elevated.
Hi.
Chris and 3 other people just came in and they found a heart for me.
What?
I'm having surgery first thing in the morning.
What? Are you kidding me?
No, I swear to God.
Oh my God!
In this picture is actually my heart. I asked before my transplant if there's any way that I could see my heart because I knew that it was very, very large. And so I just wanted to be able to see it, and I actually got to hold it.
Few of us get to do that. I think I have a copy of that photograph. It is something, and it's something to be proud of.
I knew something was different. It's like a burst of energy came out, and I just felt like I really wasn't even in the hospital. I could just take deep breaths. It seemed like my eyesight was better, just like everything about my new donated heart was making my blood circulation and everything just work better.
Sir, good to see you.
Because remember, these folks are about as sick as you can get. Most of them have a 6-month survivorship that it is really poor, and you give them hope, you give them life, you give their families their fathers back, their kids, their spouses. I mean, it is indescribable.
So this is my heart wall. This was the license plate that I got. I had my wife drive me to the DMV, and I was transplant number 745 at St. Luke. So we all go by like a number. And so 745 was my transplant number. So I immediately, of course, had to get the 745 license plate. And I had as many doctors and nurses sign this as I possibly could. And so that is a very special shirt. I became an ambassador almost 6 weeks out. I'm not joking.
I think for members of MTN and the board who are not actively involved in transplant, to see someone who has benefited to the extent that Andrew has, it's absolutely heartfelt and heartwarming, as you know that your dedication to MTN will produce a result as good as Andrew has had.
Thank you.
Midwest Transplant Network, my hospital, my transplant team.
Good. Take some deep breaths for me.
All of my nurses who were amazing. Everybody was amazing, but I wouldn't be here without my donor or my donor family that made that sacrifice and that gift. Organ donation is so important, and it gave me and my family a second chance.
Yeah.
Out.
Out.
It's very important for them to know about my story, to know how important organ donation is. When I speak to doctors or nurses or hospitals, I think it's a good reminder of just what they're doing matters because of what my outcome was and the way that I've thrived and the way that my family has gotten this gift. It's just so important to get my story and people like me's stories out there, so the medical workers, the donor families, they all just know that it is there for a reason. Give hope, share life.